Mike, what up, man? How are you?
Good, Elliot. How you doing?
How is it in sunny San Diego today? Is it sunny?
It's not sunny,
It's
actually,
not.
but it's a rare case. So we'll just take it as it is and get some reading done and pound the pavement and get some work done from the computer without missing the sunshine.
Yeah, tomorrow. I'm sorry. What is that? One of your 30 days that might not be sunny there?
Uh, exactly.
So, man, look, you are in an interesting industry, right? You are in the CBD industry. And I'm always curious to how people land themselves in this industry, like what got you here. So I would love to hear your story a little bit. Starting from younger to how we got here. So what was your childhood like? Where'd you grow up? And then we'll move from there. So yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Well, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Stoked to be on the show for sure. Childhood, I grew up in Pasadena, California. I grew up with two sisters, actually. I was the middle child. Unfortunately, lost my little sister to suicide about 10 years ago, which
Sorry.
kind of just, yeah, appreciate that. Led me to spiraling out of control, making some bad decisions. I was extremely stressed. I didn't really have my path carved out with what I wanted to do with my career. And I was just confused and in a bad spot, which we'll
Was
probably get
this
into.
started by her suicide? Like, was this the catalyst to it, or was it kind of going that way and this kind of kicked it?
It was part of it. Me and my business partner, Bo, we used to co-own a bar and grill together here in San Diego.
Okay.
We were both in that industry for about 10 years. And anybody who's worked in the hospitality industry knows it can get pretty dark. You have late hours, there's a ton of drinking around. You try to create this culture of believers, but employees will jump ship for, a 25-cent pay increase, or just not show up altogether for a shift without notice. Profit margins are really slim. People steal. It's just a really tough industry. So I think that was the stress for sure that compounded over and over again while we continued to work both in the business as bartenders or hosts or food runners, as well as on the business, diving into the financials and engaging in promotions and try to get bodies through the door.
What originally made you want to do that? Like, what made you go into the bar, hospitality industry?
I think when I graduated University of San Diego, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with my international relations diploma. But what I did know is what I did not want to do, and that was sit behind a desk and do a 9 to 5. So my cousin, ironically, was opening up a bar here in San Diego right around the time I graduated, and he had 10 plus in Chicago. And he's like, look, Mikey, I'll give you a shot at this, but it's not going to be easy, and you're not going to start bartending, in the most glamorous position. You're going to be in the back dishwashing and bussing tables. And I took it to my parents' dismay right after college. So
Look, I'm here too. So I wanted to be a pro fighter. And the way you be a pro fighter, bro, is you work a fucking late job where you can train all day and then, go actually make a living. And I had a college degree as well. My parents were like, what the fuck are you doing?
I hear you.
Like, you got to be kidding me. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, I worked my way up from dishwasher all the way through general manager. And um, that was pretty much the ceiling for that particular business. And then the place closed down, and I was looking at myself in the mirror again, like, what the hell do I do now? And that's when I met Bo. We both went to college together at University of San Diego, but didn't really know each other too well in college. But as you can imagine, had a ton of mutual friends, and we put a business plan together. Developed a pro forma, found a location, raised some funds, and ended up opening up our own spot. But yeah, to directly answer your question about why we wanted to do a bar, I think at the time it was a young man's game, right? It looked really cool, it looked really glamorous. You get your friends coming in, you can hook them up with shots or drinks, and you create this party atmosphere that people want to be a part of, and that pulled us in from the beginning.
Chicks, party, fun, all of it, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Cash, right? Cash, because like you seem very rich. I know I did anyway. I'm just explaining my trajectory, I guess, a little. You get money, you get cash on hand, and cash is king, right? So these are all the glamorous things.
Yeah, the problem is it's a facade, and don't get me wrong, there are some operators out there in the hospitality industry that absolutely kill it.
Hmm.
But I think those that do, they really systematize their business. You know, you look at something like In and Out, where the owner's not there 24/7 pouring in their blood, sweat, and tears. They adapted these systems and put them into place so they can replicate their concept. And that's really something that Bo and I wanted to follow through with.
So that's not going the best, right? And
Exactly.
your sister sadly commits suicide. And what's next?
So, I always, held that dark cloud over my head. And since, luckily I've been through a ton of therapy, I have a life coach, do a good amount of yoga, probably 3, 4 times a week, and do everything I can and just maintain my mental health. And I'm in a really good spot now, thanks to all that stuff, plus family and friends and all that. But during that time when we owned the bar, it was when I was at the grief was at its heaviest. And one thing that I ended up noticing was, my days off didn't correspond with the days off of my friends. Sunday, I'd finish up work for brunch and then get done. And that's when my weekend started. While most of my friends, they were, winding down from the weekend, going to run errands, watching Netflix and getting prepared for the week. And I felt really alone. I felt isolated because my core friend group kind of disintegrated in my own hands, and my social life definitely got hurt because of that. So I'd come home and want to hang out, and I felt really alone. And one time I called my older sister Caroline, who's my accountability partner, and I just love her to death. And I told her, I was like, I'm in a dark place. I feel stressed out. I feel alone. I feel isolated. I have a sense of imposter syndrome. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing at work or what I really want to do in the future. And she told me not to worry because what I was dealing with was called the Sunday Scaries. And I remember vividly, right when she said that, the name itself, gave me chills up and down my arms. I was like, this is exactly what I'm dealing with.
Why did she call it the Sunday Scares? Explain.
So she didn't make up the term. You can find it on Urban Dictionary, but the Sunday Scaries is the impending doom that you face on Sunday when Monday's right around the corner. So whether you procrastinated and didn't get to the emails or the tasks that your boss laid on your plate on Friday, or you're apprehensive about going back to work or school, or you spent too much money on the weekend, or you're kind of getting down on yourselves because you don't think your priorities are in line. It's really common. I think about 90% of survey applicants on monster.com said that they've dealt with or felt Sunday Scaries at one point.
Dude, that's crazy. I hated fucking Sunday night as a kid. Like
Exactly.
I couldn't stand it. Like I loved Sunday because I got to watch football. But after, and I grew up on the East Coast. So after the second game, right, which is the 4 o'clock game, 7 o'clock rolls around. And it's like, fuck. And I hated school. Like, that's my story and whatnot. But I can remember just, yeah, Sunday was bad. The Sunday Scares. I never heard of it before though.
Yeah. And so, you can feel that, pit in your stomach any day of the week. And,
Mm-hmm.
we were looking at, what can solve this, right? You can go to a gas station and get a 5-hour energy and just get your energy spiked really quickly. But with regards to like a calming supplement, the market didn't really have that in 2017, and we felt like this was a good way to approach that gap
With your product.
with our product.
So what was that entrepreneurial? You have a very entrepreneurial mindset, right? Like, because I'm not going to go work a 9 to 5 is, I mean, it's the number one indicator for the entrepreneur. That's my biggest scary, I guess, is I'm going to work a 9 to 5. So what happened next? So you talked to your sister, she says Sunday Scaries, something clicks in your head, you Google it, whatever, or Urban Dictionary. What's next? Like, what made you go, oh, hold on, let me look at this.
Yeah, so there was a really cool book that both my business partner Bo and I read called The EMyth. I believe it's by Michael Gerber. Have you ever read that?
Oh man, so I run a consulting business, and it's We use a platform called Traction, and then so we make them read about this platform called Traction, and then the second book they have to read is the EMyth Revisited. Yes.
Yeah, I know Traction pretty well. We
Yeah.
actually implemented that in our company a couple years back.
Yeah.
But I read the EMyth and I realized, I mean, that just like rung home super hard.
Yeah.
It talks about in the book a ton of different things, but one was about being a technician on site on your job, which is what we were doing, right? We were bartending and running food like I discussed. And then another thing was just being shackled to your own business. There's this, you know, fake school of thought that once you become an entrepreneur, your life is free and you have that autonomy to pick and choose what you want to do. But Bo and I kind of zoomed out and looked at our situation, and we thought of the bar as an anchor. You know,
Right.
we couldn't get away from it. We had to be there in order for it to perform. So Bo came up with the idea, you know, in his head. He's like, with the bar, we're only marketing to people that are in a, you know, 3-mile radius of us. Why not try to, you know, get into e-commerce where we can send packages all across the US or eventually beyond? And that made a ton of sense to me. So the next question we had was, okay, what do we latch onto? What kind of product can we stand behind and create a brand around? And we started with sunglasses to slim fit Hawaiian shirts and stuff like that. And nothing really hit home for us. So one day we were at the bar running around looking like zombies. I mean, we hadn't slept in days. We were stressed the fuck out. We weren't happy, that's for sure.
Are you married at this point in your life? Family, anything?
Not married. I have a
Okay.
son, but never
Okay.
been married.
Okay.
Yeah. And our buddy Garrett came in to the bar and saw us, and we didn't even know he was there. We just like walked right past him because we were just like drones at the time. And he pulled us aside and he's like, "You guys look like shit. I'm making it you know, I'm making it mandatory that we set up a golf date a week from now on Saturday." So he took us out golfing, and on the course, he pulled out his a little vial from his bag with like a pipette on it, which was CBD oil. And he's like, here's CBD oil. I'll try this, and you guys can decompress and relax and enjoy your day without checking your phones and worrying about the BS at work. And I was apprehensive because I don't like THC. I'm not a big fan of THC. It makes me paranoid. It gets me all in my head. It affects me in a weird way. Bo, my business partner, loves it, but it doesn't work for me. So Bo immediately tried it. And then after Garrett explained to me that, you know, CBD is non-psychoactive, that's when I gave it a go. And I shit you not, Elliot, within 30 minutes, I had this cool, calm, collected feeling overcome me. I was in the present, I was in the now, I was enjoying myself with quality friends, and my golf game was immaculate. And I was like, you know what, we found the product. This is what we need to sell. So after the round, you know, Bo and I, we're hungry. So we went right at it. We opened up our computers and tried to figure out where to buy the products and do our market research. And at this time, it was 2017. The CBD industry was really nascent. In fact, people didn't even really know what CBD was. Even my stoner friends from back in LA, they're like, yeah, CBD, it's just weed, right? And we still get that to this day, although the consumer education has gone a long way. But there was a ton of different gaps in the market. There were different companies that had no brand backbone to them. A lot of the companies that were already in the space kind of marketed their product as a CBD for everything, whether it's for, you know, sleep or skincare, instead of targeting, you know, one specific ailment, which we found is a mistake, and that eventually gave birth to Sunday Scaries, which is, you know, the products are formulated to de-stress.
So I didn't know that. So CBD is supposed to be formulated for different things, right? It's not all CBD for one. Oh, this is better. It's not just, oh, take this and all of these things will happen.
Well, that's what some of the companies were marketing themselves as. I mean, CBD, there still needs to be a ton of different studies to take place, because the compound itself has just been bastardized for so long, you know, since like the 1930s. So that has, you know, handcuffed different scientists from doing studies on how CBD can help the human in the human body in general. But it's purported to help with sleep and skincare. And there are certain other things, but what really hit home for us based on what we discussed was the stress factor. And that's how I take it. So we went to our formulators and custom formulated our products with different vitamin blends. And we picked the right CBD oil from our manufacturing arm, K&D Labs, who actually processes the raw materials, and they can give us the right profiles for the desired effects. And we're solely focusing on stress and also with sleep, because
The two
sleep
go hand in hand.
exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, they go. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So, man, again, it's one thing so you talked about, so the big theme of the EMyth, right, is that there's three things. There's working in your business, working on your business, and working for your business. So how did you get out of that cycle with this, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur. I have schools and all kinds of things. And it's the game changer for us I don't really have to work. I work all the time. How did you make that happen?
Yeah, so it started as a passion project. We got a website together, and it was a big learning curve for us because we were so used to this brick and mortar establishment, not getting in front of our computers. We didn't know shit about e-commerce at the time. So I leveraged some connections, and we put together a website and built our social channels. And we did this grassroots marketing campaign for Sunday Scaries on Instagram, where we basically leveraged our connections in the hospitality industry. So bartenders, bottle service girls, bar owners, anybody who was kind of influential in the San Diego nightlife scene, who usually has a good amount of followers and a good amount of influence, because everybody knows them around town. And we kind of blended our two competencies and into one, and seeded them with product. And we did product for posts. We did some paid campaigns with flat fees, and then we did some rev share models. And we ended up gaining some really good early ground doing that, because we just got this blanketed exposure all across San Diego. And definitely did not happen overnight. Success, I don't think, ever happens overnight. And we worked our ass off without getting paid for probably about a year and a half. But eventually it turned from a passion project into something that was real, and sales were just doubling month over month. Meanwhile, at the bar, which was still open, it was going the other way. Our P&Ls were in the red. So, we kind of had to force sell the bar, which was a nightmare. I mean, we have freaking PTSD from that experience. But when one door closes, another opens, and that's when we just went full swing into Sunday Scaries.
You talked a little bit before, and you said we'll get into it later, like your anxiety, your depression, whatever that was. Let's get into it a little bit, if you don't mind. What was that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it stemmed from my sister's suicide. I mean, to this day, our family still goes through therapy, and still has a ton of different problems and thoughts surrounding it. It's never something you're going to quote unquote get over. I think now, like I said, I'm in a good place, but I had that going on while simultaneously dealing with the bar, and me just being in a place in my life, especially in my career, that I wasn't comfortable with. So that was a big catalyst to why we started Sunday Scaries, because there's this enigma that's going on, where people, when they feel alone or they feel isolated, they think that they're the only ones dealing with those feelings, when in actuality, people that you least expect may be dealing with that exact same feeling. And that really took effect with my little sister Julia. You'd look at her Facebook profile when she was at college, and she's smiling in every one of her photos, right? And then all of a sudden, something catastrophic like that happened, and you start second guessing yourself, like, what the fuck? Like, do I have friends that are feeling as shitty as she was? And we really made it our mission to just transform a worrisome nation into a chill one, and be really open with our dialogue with regards to mental health awareness, because I don't want to see that happen again to one of my loved ones.
Man, this is my kryptonite for me personally, is this alone feeling for, my childhood, whatever else it may be. So I appreciate your work here, because yeah, that's my demon in the middle of the night when I can't sleep or whatever it is, that I'm alone, you know, that there's you're by yourself. And uh, it's hard to explain to people, you know, because they look at you on the outside and they go, oh, look, that person's very successful. That person's got all these friends and family. Look at their Instagram. They're blah, blah, blah. And that just doesn't need to be the truth. And a lot of people hide it very, very well, because that's what we have to do to survive. Or that's what we think we have to do to survive, rather than actually come out and be like, yo, look, I'm just fucking scared. And that's just what it is. And I don't like being alone. And, you know, and that scares me.
Yeah, I mean, and the problems are being amplified. You have these social media expectations where, let's say you're working your ass off at work, but then you see your friends seemingly vacationing all the time, and you kind of question your self-worth. Or you're going to the gym and you're not seeing the results, and then you open up your Instagram and you see somebody who's really chiseled or in perfect shape, and you start having negative thoughts or low self-esteem on whether or not you're doing the right thing.
And then
Compounded on
the
top of
algorithm compounds that for you.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
And look, man, I mean, to sidetrack a little bit here, like I couldn't figure out, like when I go on my explore page on my Instagram, it's a lot of like naked girls, like in bathing suits and shit. And I'm like, dude, I don't search naked girls. What the fuck? Like, I can't figure out why. And it's because I follow the hashtags motivation and inspiration. And that
Oh,
is
that's freaking
littered with
hilarious,
girls
dude.
in bathing suits. Right. And I'm like, oh, like I couldn't figure it out. Was like, I like, look, I would like, I'm not gonna lie. Like when it comes across my screen, like, yeah, sure, you slow down a little bit, go, oh, she's good looking or whatever. But I'm not
Yeah,
like searching big butts or whatever, right? Like, I
totally. I
can't.
think it has to do with our demographic too,
True.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
young males, and then depending on what else you like,
Right.
UFC, and people that like UFC probably
Yeah.
like that. So
I
a lot of
couldn't figure
different.
it out though, man. Because like mostly if I search something, it's like steak or fighting. And I'm like, you know, and I'm like, why does it always want to show me girls?
Yeah, that's freaking great,
So
man.
anyway, but yeah, it's a tough thing, the social media gig.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, it's information overdose. Everywhere you look, you read something, you don't know whether it's real news or fake news. And then you had this whole thing with COVID happen, which rattled people's sleep processes, and kind of jolted their workout routines, and now people are just having difficulty concentrating. They're feeling more agitated than they normally were, and those societal pressures are just being amplified.
Yeah, COVID was a big loop, right? Like not even from the disease factor of it, just the um most people, I don't think most people think about their mortality very often. You live life as though it will be very similar to yesterday and nothing major is going to change. And then COVID showed us that that is not correct. And that is a big life change, whether we want to admit that, not admit that, you know, that's a mind altering shift.
Yeah, speaking from a personal experience with coronavirus, I've always been able to sleep like a baby. I mean, I'm telling you, when I hit the pillow, I'm out like a light.
You're my wife.
And
Yeah.
yeah, oh really? Yes.
Yeah.
It's just I'm very grateful for it. But with COVID, when it took place, I don't know what it was, not getting enough sunlight or getting outside enough, but my sleep really hurt. And we kind of polled our customers and asked them, what do you guys want to see from us? That's how we do product development. We ask our super fans and our scary squad, we're like, what kind of products do you want? Taste, use case, et cetera, et cetera. And sleep was, overwhelmingly the number two choice behind more products that help you de-stress. So we came out with a product called Big Spoon, which will have you sleeping like a little spoon again. And it's this really cool custom vanilla cream formulation where you take it, it induces sleep right away. You stay asleep throughout the entire night. And then unlike melatonin, you wake up in the morning feeling non-groggy, not like you have freaking cotton balls shoved in your brain.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
that product for us is taking off. And I think it's it's definitely at least partially attributed to the pandemic. So
Yeah. No, I mean the pandemic threw everyone for a loop. I don't care who you are, it threw you for a loop.
100%.
So let's get back to the journey of growth,
Yeah.
What you launched, I mean, obviously you're talking about all these things like your major players and your scary squad. And so you've obviously expanded. What was that expansion like? How did you do it? What were the things that were difficult and were drawbacks?
Yeah. So once we found out that it was, a viable venture, and we saw those sales double month over month, where, we looked at each other, we're like, we got something here. And we were outgrowing the space that we were in. We were actually shipping products out of the upper lounge at the bar we were working at. And it just got, I mean, this is bootstrap 101, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we grinded and made it freaking happen. But as we got more and more serious, we looked at ourselves, we're like, we need to get as compliant as possible. We need to make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's. And our mantra is like is the Japanese Kaizen. It's gradually get better little by little every single day. So we ended up moving out and getting an office, which is like our first big step to being a quote unquote dignified company. And we started hiring because we couldn't handle everything that was thrown our way, especially with some of the distribution stuff. I wanted to start focusing more on marketing with Bo. Meanwhile, we're like, throwing bottles into manila envelopes or boxes and throwing shipping labels on them and pushing them out, which wasn't the best use of our time. So it was like a delegate and elevate kind of thing, take stuff off our plates that we shouldn't be focusing on to allow us to focus on bigger things, as well as bringing on talent for certain aspects of the business that we didn't fully understand. So we can,
What were those
slingshot
aspects?
ourselves forward. Mostly had to do with websites, like a webmaster website configuration, and then overall e-commerce, scaling an e-commerce company, which I think, to Bo and my credit, we've learned so much in the past, 3.5 years. But at the time, we wanted to move as quickly as possible. So we brought on a CMO with some experience marketing online. And we just started to hack away at the different social platforms to try to get our name out there. And this, at first, it was like the wild, wild west. We had Facebook ads running. We had a 5x return on ad spend. It was the glory days. And eventually Facebook's compliance caught on and started basically slapping the hands of CBD companies and banning our accounts, flagging our ads. And we had to pivot from platform to platform until eventually all platforms are like no CBD. And so imagine, it's almost like
It's working for you, yes, and then all of a sudden they just go, nope.
right out from underneath us, no warning whatsoever, and try to get a hold of a compliance officer at Facebook. It's not very easy. And if you do, you'll talk to them about something and then call back and it'll be somebody completely different. You have to start over again. But imagine, I think a good parallel is if you're a UFC fighter and you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back. That's what it feels like being an entrepreneur in the CBD industry, because every entrepreneur faces a ton of different obstacles and a ton of different hurdles to jump. But with us, we have obstacles on top of obstacles. We can't advertise on Google. We can't advertise on YouTube. No Facebook, no Instagram, no Snapchat. So we've had to get really crafty and nimble with how we've been able to get eyeballs on our products and our brand.
What did you do?
So,
Excuse me.
Yeah, bless you. We at first, we tried to make a wall. We try to make a door where there was a wall, right? We try to get really crafty with opening up new ad accounts and continuing to dial in the creatives. For example, make them more vanilla, not have them say CBD on them. But we were playing this cat and mouse game where, some ads would get live and we'd get some sales, but then they weren't able to scale because once they did, they'd be pulled down. And this was frustrating, to the nth degree. It was freaking, imagine going through this process, right? Where you hire on a creative team to film this awesome video for us with all these actors, which, it takes a month plus to develop. And then you throw up the ad and it gets flagged.
So you
right
must
away.
be making some decent money here, right? Because this shit's expensive. A CMO, an ad, like you must be doing okay at this point though.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably when we were at, I would say like 2.5 million in revenue, maybe a little bit less. But so we had money to play with, and our overhead wasn't huge, right? I mean, that's probably around when we started paying ourselves. We had just gotten the office, but we didn't really have this huge company infrastructure, and we didn't have a big workforce either.
Okay.
So it ended up working out. I mean, altogether, actually, with Sunday Scaries, we did an initial seed round with friends and family for 30 grand. We bootstrapped it off of 30 grand. And since then we executed like a bridge round with some other friends and family, just because people were hitting us up constantly like, hey, I want to be a part of this. Hey, I want to be a part of this. And that was during like mid 2020, when there was a lot of uncertainty with regards to what the hell was going to happen with the economy. So we ended up taking on a little bit more money, but the rest is funded with some debt, mostly credit cards, and then just using our profits and pouring it back into marketing.
Yeah, you said something earlier that my company and that I greatly believe in. It's hard to get people on board in the restaurant industry, right? Because they'll just run to the next highest bidder, or whoever the highest bidder is, and they'll steal from you and all of those things. And I don't even know if I blame them personally. How did you do it in this company? Like where did you start? How did you get people on board to, because like all companies struggle with this unless they figure out a way to get people on board. So how did you do it?
Yeah, I think that we developed our core values, which is obviously part of traction. I'm sure you're well aware of that, just to get the right people that we wanted to vibe with on a day-to-day basis, and people that are hungry. One of our core values is grow or die. So we really, really enforce and reinforce the fact that we want our employees to continually learn. So we buy them classes on Udemy or books on Amazon, set them up with other positions of other San Diego companies. Like, I'll coordinate a meeting with an email marketer from Blenders, which is like a sunglass company here in San Diego, with ours, just so they can exchange ideas and get better. But I think, to answer your initial question, we try to hire the best people. And that was really frustrating for us in particular because of the obstacles that I already told you about. Imagine hiring somebody whose core competency is Facebook ads, and telling them that we want to scale Facebook ads, but then they can't do what they know how to do. So that kind of hurt us at the beginning, because we went from 3 employees to 14 pretty quickly. Probably, looking back, scaled too quickly with regards to headcount. But at the same time, we didn't see a dramatic increase in sales, which would have helped the margin on that salary and professional fee bucket on our P&L, because we had all of those the roadblocks from the different marketing channels.
Mm-hmm. So you established core values. What are your core values? I think this is always such an interesting question, even though we're not on a business podcast. I have personal life core values. I kind of tractioned my life. So what are like the core values? What are some of these things that you get people to buy into?
Yeah, so the first one is let's get ready to rumble. So we celebrate success at our company, and we like to be fired up all the time. The best way I can describe it, I'm sure you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, where you walk into the office and people are yelling, throwing papers in the air, going from desk to desk and engaging with each other. We like that kind of energy in the office, where we can really celebrate success and have some fucking fun doing this, because honestly, we get our heads bashed in all the time. And the industry is really frustrated, especially with the legal landscape and how gray the product is, that it's really important that we just keep this fun, fiery vibe, which I think we do a pretty good job of executing. And then we also have grow or die, which I went over. That's not just, getting your face in a book or taking a class on whatever your job role is. It's also just the company in general. We want to scale the hell out of this thing. This isn't just some lifestyle business where, we collect a check and go surfing every day. We're really trying to make this big. Also have Unleash Your Inner Deadpool. So this is us being, bold, sarcastic, a little bit chippy, which is reflected in our email marketing as well as our social. Kind of like, poking fun at other things, and then also making fun of ourselves, just the way Ryan Reynolds did in Deadpool. Then we have, what am I missing here? Like, my team is going to kill me when they hear this. So you got to edit this part out. I've been over this thing so many times too. No, I got it right here. Hold on. Keep it 100. This is my favorite one, because when you're moving really quickly, in a startup in particular, everybody's got a lot on their plates. They're wearing a ton of different hats, and especially us as co-founders, we can't see all the problems, right? So with this, we just tell the team to bring like a Brene Brownish vulnerability to work and really be open and honest and not bottle stuff up. Because all that's going to do is have them coming to work feeling like crap, and it's not going to give us the opportunity to solve whatever they're going through.
Right.
Especially with us being, such huge advocates on mental health awareness. Like, we really want to make sure that everybody that's coming to work is like having fun and enjoying coming to work at Sunday Scaries. And then the final one we have is actually taken from Tony Hsieh, RIP, which is Deliver Happiness. Tony Hsieh, who was a CEO of Zappos.
Okay.
Yeah, who recently passed away, I think in like 2020. But that's all about, making sure that they're not just customers, they're our friends, right? We have this open line of communication with them. We listen to them, we pull them, like I said, for our product development. And we always give them a yes where we can.
Man, I'm a fan, bro. I'm a fan of your whole gig, I think you had me at describing Sunday Scaries maybe. And, and then the whole mental health thing. So I dig your company. It's fucking cool. As we close out here, I like to ask two questions. Man, I'm a fighter, right? Like, I'm just some dude. I'm not like you're not going to blow up because of my podcast. I hope you weren't expecting that. So why do you say yes? Like, why say yes to coming on my on the podcast and having a conversation? Look, you're busy. I'm busy. What makes you do this?
Yeah, I think getting the message across, I think that we really want people to know what we're doing, transforming a worrisome nation into a chill one. And I think that there's a lot of room for consumer education in our market. And like I said, the legal landscape's really murky. The FDA, is yet to kind of come out with a classification for CBD products, whether or not they're allowed as a dietary supplement. There is a drug that they passed called Epidiolex, but most of the product and brands you see are marketing themselves as a dietary supplement. And we were supposed to have a ruling back in 2019, and it's still yet to take place. But I think overall, just letting people know that there is a product out there, whether you're feeling isolated, apprehensive, second questioning yourself, or you've ever had that experience on Sundays where you're like, holy shit, I got Monday the next day. How can I chill out? We got your back.
Hell yeah. My final question always is, I believe everyone in the world has a unique power, something that makes them amazing. LeBron James makes him a lot of fucking money and has made him famous. What do you think? Not everyone's is though, right? So what do you think your power is?
Strategizing in order to problem solve.
Okay. Explain that.
So, a lot of different stuff gets thrown at us on a day-to-day basis. Things that need to get solved, especially in our industry. And I think that for me in particular, what I'm really good at doing is just dissecting issues, figuring out the best way out of them, and then always providing a solution. So that's I think that's my short answer for what my superpower is. I think Bo and I work really well together because Bo, you're obviously familiar with visionary and integrator, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Bo is, he took the test. He's like 100% visionary, maybe 98% is what he got.
My business
So
partner is too. Just straight visionary. Can't focus on shit. Love him.
yeah. So Bo, you know, it was his idea to get out of the brick and mortar industry. It was his idea to enter CBD, which was, you know, a budding industry at the time. It was his idea to, you know, have a subscription program so we can have recurring sales and provide our customers with like a unique experience, not just a one-off sale. And we wouldn't have had any of that stuff without his ideas. But I think we work well together because I'm not fully integrator. I'm like a 60-40 integrator visionary.
You
So
and
I'm
I are the
able
same.
to, oh, really? Okay.
Mhm. I'm not a
Which I
great,
like.
yeah, I'm not a great integrator either. Like I'm okay. And I'm visionary, but I'm not like, but I can work. Like most visionaries can't fucking work, right? Like they're just like, yo, we're gonna do this.
I can't wait till my team hears this.
Is that
But
Bo?
yeah, I think that's what
Is that Bo?
Bo has a lot of different ideas, and 19 of them will be like, dude, what are you doing? And then, but one of them is like a freaking gold mine.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to me, right, to be there to help him basically pull down that one idea that is gold, and then actually make sure there's a pathway for execution.
Oh shit. It's fucking hilarious. Go ahead.
It rings a bell, right? But I think it's cool too because
Dude, you're not allowed to talk to the employees. Don't talk to the fucking employees. You talk to me. I'll talk to the employees. Okay.
Oh my God, dude. I can't wait till he hears this.
Oh shit.
We have a blast, man. That guy, he's like my brother. I mean, I would freaking take a bullet for him, and we work really well. I respect the shit out of him. And I'm so glad I met him because I wouldn't be here today had I
Dude, my
not,
business partner was my teacher, my jujitsu teacher, right? So he was my teacher, and then I bought in, and yeah, so I mean, I get it. Like I love him. Like I'm going to Florida tomorrow for a big tournament, and one of my favorite things in the whole world is to go to big tournaments with him. And he's had to bail on this one, so I'm like sad. Like I'm genuinely sad that he's not coming with me. So, but yeah, don't talk to the fucking employees. Say hello, tell them they're doing a great job.
Dude, too good, man.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I think
That's
I
it.
hit
Yeah,
everything.
you hit it. You hit
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
man, I first of all, I want some of your products. So tell
Yeah,
everyone where they can get your products so I can get some of your product.
for sure. So it's sundayscaries.com. Super easy.
Okay.
And then we have the best place to find out what we're all about, different promotions, different sales, showcase our testimonials is Sunday Scaries on Instagram. So
Okay.
2 words, Sunday, SCARIES.
All right. Guys, that's it. Mike, thanks so much for coming on. As always, everyone, you got to hear Mike's story today. You got to hear about him and what his power is. Don't go out in the world and try to be Mike. I have my own unique power as well. Don't go out and try in the world and try to be me. Everyone go out there and find your power.